2. Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. It's all brought to you by Fremont Mortgage. We are live at Pat Rick's in Essex. Give it up for Matt Skura, your starting center for the Baltimore Ravens this week. We are headed down to Atlanta, Georgia this week. Luke Jones riding shotgun as well. Luke will be out in Owings Mills all week long. We're going to be at Buffalo Wild Wings in Bel Air for the Terps and Virginia. We already beat up Duke in the first segment, so if you're late, we're not going to poop on Duke anymore, or are we? We're not allowed to do that with you anymore, right?
No, we can talk about it as much as
you know what? Let me say, what was the best part of Duke going there? Because most of us are never going to go there, and I love the fact that you hated Duke at least until you got there. So that you score major points with us.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint one exact thing that it was the overarching thing.
Make me like it more than I did a minute ago.
Durham, the city of Durham is really cool. It's very small. It's probably about 300,000 people. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say hipster, but it's just very kind of laid back, kind of a sleepy town.
And then they play basketball.
They play basketball. They got great food.
People have no idea how close Raleigh, Chapel Hill, and Durham are. You know, until you go down there and realize we were going down there. Maryland would go down there and play on a Tuesday night. Then they go back, play next week, and then play next Saturday, and they're playing North Carolina. And we never won. There was always Carolina refs. I do remember that part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so what's really cool is the whole, I guess, the triangle area. So you have Durham and then Chapel Hill, which is, 15 minutes down the road from each other. And then you have Raleigh, that's probably about 25 minutes. And so that's what's pretty cool. You can kind of hop around and go to different schools. My wife and I would go over to Chapel Hill a few times. They had Insomniac cookies. So we would go over there.
We got those. They deliver. You don't need to go anymore. You just call. They bring them in. It's good.
So we would go over there a few times. And
Spanky's still open in Chapel Hill? Yeah, I did things down there in the 90s I'm not proud of. But, there are no pictures that I know of. So, therefore, I think I'm all right.
Yeah. So, no, Durham's great. Great people, great food. We always enjoy going back there during the off season. So, yeah, it's a very cool town. And then Duke, the campus itself is small, but it's
How
really
many games you seen at Cameron? A bunch? Too many to count?
No, probably 4.
Hard, even as a student, to get in?
Yeah, so
you don't say I'm a football player and they'll let you in?
You have to camp out, right?
Yeah,
you got to camp out. So actually, right now I think they're starting the whole tenting thing, and so that's kind of crazy.
I thought smart people went there. This really kind of plays that down a little bit.
Yeah, that's why they're crazy. That's why they're called the Cameron Crazies. So
all right, enough basketball. Luke wants to talk football.
Well, I want to get back to something you said in the first segment. You talked about your journey and. You play with some guys, Ronnie Stanley, a first-round pick. Marshall Yonda's been in the league over a decade. Even Alex Lewis, he was a fourth-round pick and started from day one. You were on the practice squad your first year, and just kind of take us through what the last couple years have been for you. Undrafted out of Duke, practice squad, and now you're starting for a team going into the month of December, playing for the playoffs.
Yeah, so it's been a pretty crazy ride, from the 2016 draft coming out. I think everyone kind of expects to be drafted. If you're a starter for a certain amount of years, you have certain accolades, and
people are whispering at you, you're going to go in the 5th round, right?
Right.
They're telling you that stuff,
and
right?
I knew I wasn't going to be a first-round pick, but I was like, maybe a team will pick me up in the later rounds, and so that doesn't happen. And then go to the Ravens. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to have to kind of do what I did at Duke and just kind of put my head down and grind and show them that I know how to work hard, and I also have great skills as a football player. I'm versatile. I can play multiple positions, and that's kind of what it's been right now. I've just been the last 2 years kind of keeping my head down and grinding and showing the coaches, the organization, that I can be a great football player. And, now, so last year going into a starting role at right guard, filling in for Marshall.
You went practice squad to starting the next week,
right?
Or at least rotating with aluminum.
And you were banged up, too, right?
That was later in the year, so it was crazy. So Marshall goes down week 2 versus Cleveland, and week 3 we're going to London. And so, I'm like, okay, I'll be up on the active,
right.
Probably going to be on field goal, because that's kind of where I'll probably be put. And my O-line coach, Joe Alessandris, we just call him
Joe D.
Joe D.
he's like, I'm going to give you an opportunity to start, and we'll see where it goes. I'm like, okay, all right, let's do this. All right,
all right.
Obviously, in my mind, it's like racing. I'm like, okay, like I got to get. I got to
call my wife. I got to call my family.
I got to get back into studying the film and the playbook and all this. So on practice squad, you're more concerned about giving the looks of the other team rather than kind of as much focused on what our game plan is. So we're going to London. It's my first start, like all these things, and it was kind of crazy, just all those things happening at once. And getting that whole experience last year was awesome, especially a right guard, a position that I didn't play naturally in college. And I think it showed some versatility for myself, and also just getting that experience too, just actually playing NFL football was a huge dream of mine as a kid. And I think you want to prove something to yourself. You're like, okay, I know I've been on the practice squad, but I think now I can handle this. I think I can play with some of the best. And so that was a huge thing for me, is proving to myself that I could play in the National Football League. And so now going forward, I just want to continue cementing my spot.
Was there a specific moment or maybe a specific matchup where, and you're going to be confident. You don't get to even a practice squad without having confidence in who you are as a player. But
right.
Was there a moment, a specific game where you thought, not that I can't get better, but I belong at this level?
I think it starts in the preseason. I think in the preseason I felt pretty good my rookie year. Each game I got a little bit more comfortable with the plays and just playing. I think it was actually really last preseason, where I really truly felt comfortable. Whether it was playing right guard, center, left guard, I was really starting to feel like I could play really at any of those positions and really play in the National Football League. And then I think the Jacksonville game was a great start for me. Obviously you got to build back into the speed of football. They weren't obviously my best games ever, but I think the Steelers game, I had a nice pull with Alex Collins. I kicked out the corner and he ran a 40-yard gain. Mm-hmm. And those things just build your confidence. You're like, okay, I can run with these guys, or I can block these guys. And with each rep in the games and everything like that, you just kind of build confidence, and you kind of start understanding what your game is, what things you do well, what things you need to work on, and things like that. So, I don't know if there was one specific moment, but I think it was just a collection of a bunch of plays that I put together that, in my mind, I started feeling more confident.
Well, it is interesting when you come in. Is it physical or is it mental? And I guess more so when you're thinking like a center, when you're thinking play calls, lines, where's the mic, all of that stuff. Different quarterbacks, especially in the preseason, where, if you're running second or third team, you're not, and you might be running against their first team, might be running against their third team. And certainly the Rams, the practices were a lot more demanding than the game was, certainly for them. So a lot of that going on, but physical or mental, which one came first or was there first? Because I'm thinking if you think like a center, you're always thinking like a center. Yeah. Maybe that makes it easier to be a guard when they give you a shot to do that a little bit, right?
Yeah, so I just remember when we first went out for OTAs my rookie year, they're like, all right, we're going to start running some plays. I felt like a freshman in college all over again. The play, everything was moving so fast. I had to make mic ID calls, which I never had to do in college, because you're just like, oh, the play's going left. Well, he's the guy that we're going to. Play's going right. Well, he's going to. So that definitely took an adjustment. So mentally, everything felt really fast. The game felt super fast, and I was just trying to catch up. Hey, have a good night, man.
Steve wants to be part of the show. Steve's part of the show. Steve, come on up. Yeah, that's good. Let him finish his story, Steve. Go ahead.
So everything mentally was just going super crazy fast, and I was trying to catch up with.
People in Essex are friendly. You just got to get used to it, man. It's fun.
Great people.
My people over here.
Great people. And so first, I think mentally, it was just all right, I got to remember the plays, remember the snap count, remember who the mic is, who this and that. And the Ravens defense, they're known for all these crazy defenses and, making you be out of position, all this stuff. So at first
making the center feel like a fool for misidentifying the mic.
Yeah, exactly. And which I had never felt before, especially coming from college. I was always on my game, and at that point, football was just very easy for me. It was just natural. And then I think once the mental part started to become easier, that's when the physical part came in. I remember playing guard, and the very first time I set out on an end, and it was Zadarius Smith, and like I took like a few kick steps, and he was like already past me. I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. and it's
I
funny.
know where to be, but that's not doing
Can
me
I
good
get
right
there?
now.
right. And so things start obviously like getting slower mentally, like all that stuff. And Marshall, he was a really big help for me because he's had a similar story. Everyone kind of goes through that. Marshall was telling me he had to fill in for Jonathan Ogden when he first got into the Ravens, got into the league, and he had to go against Terrell Suggs for like the very first 3 days.
And Marshall's arms aren't built for that. You're just not, right? He's not built like a tackle. He's built like a guard.
Yeah, and Marshall's like, this is when Suggs is like really like in his prime, and like year 6, and I'm a rookie, and I'm getting put on my back for the first time like in my career. And Marshall's like, you know what? I had a good career as an offensive lineman, but maybe this is just not cut out for me. Because he saw the size of Jonathan Ogden. He's like, wow, this is what a tackle, this is what an offensive lineman is supposed to look like. Like, maybe this is just maybe it's my time to.
Ogden Mike Flynn's still one of my dearest friends, and you remind me a lot of him in a lot of good ways because he was a swing center guard. He was undrafted out of Maine. He kind of sat around and made his way, waited for his opportunity, and all of a sudden they put him in, and they couldn't take him out once they put him in. Then it was like, all right, you're going to be a guard, you're going to be a center, and that transition, he was here. He was the veteran when Marshall got here, and taking it back to Ogden. If you know Ogden and Marshall, you've pretty much touched every offensive lineman. I mean, that's kind of an incredible thing. And for every Edwin Mulatalo and Mike Flynn and all the guys that have been a part of this. But we really fell apart, I thought, as a franchise when Matt left. When Matt Burke left Joe was a puppy, coming in with Matt. Matt was legendary. Probably not going to the Hall of Fame, but certainly the Hall of Very, very good. And when he left and a rookie came in, it was oversized or undersized, I'd say, it really changed everything about the running game because having a great center, we know what that looks like around here. To claim this the way Jensen did as well. You saw this happen in front of you, right?
Right. And, I'm definitely trying to write my own story, and that's something that I've been trying to do every single game. Definitely trying to get better, and I think I'm just trying to cement myself in this offense and show that, I can be someone who wants to be here and in this league for a very long time. And, that also takes me performing well and, guys who are really good, like going against Cameron Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, Geno Atkins, doing well against those guys is a huge part of that. And so, I think every guy has had those moments where it's time to prove themselves, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. And it's just part of the game and part of the business, and hopefully I continue to keep doing a good job.
Season ends today. We're in the playoffs. That's all I know, right? It's true, right?
It's not bad. What else can you ask for?
That's where we want to be when I'm eating my leftover pumpkin pie. Matt Skura is out with us. We're at Pat Rick's in Essex. He is our starting center. We're going to come back, wrap things up. We're going to get him swabbed for the bone marrow registry. You're not on the registry, right?
No.
Do you know anything about it?
Yes, I do.
All right, well, we're going to educate everybody about this on the way back in. Big thanks to our friends at Freedmont Mortgage. Carl Delmont, don't make a 30-year mistake by choosing the wrong lender. You need the right lender. You need Freedmont.com. Carl will be with us. He owns the Harrisburg Heat. We'll be talking.